80% of your training should probably be toward like no bullshit gunfighting skills stuff. What is going on, everybody? Joey with Tactical Response. Just wanted to talk real quick about a question that comes up in our fighting rifles sometimes. Now, in that class, we teach partial offside. And what I mean by that is, let's say you had a piece of cover where the only option is the left side of cover. For me, it would be right, because I'm right-handed. But you have the offside of cover available. We teach partial, which is just the gun moves, the hands stay the same, and then that way you can expose a little bit less of yourself and see the sights comfortably and work the gun the way that you're supposed to. The question that gets asked sometimes is, why don't we teach full offside? And they're very close. So again, we teach partial offside. So what that would look like is just something like this. I have the gun here. If I decided I want to shoot off of my offside, all I'm going to do is bring the gun over, and I might have to cant the gun in to get the optic in front of my left eye, but there we go. Now I could run the gun that way if I need it to. Full offside would be the gun moves first, then I'm going to move my hands, and now I am just in a full left-handed shooting this gun for whatever situation is calling for that. So, pros of the partial offside. Our hands stay the same, so if we get that gun out there and we run into a click, the gun stops working for any reason, it's in our primary hand. So all we have to do is get back behind cover. We can fix it however we would want to fix it, the way that we've probably practiced a whole bunch. If full offside is your answer, one of the cons of that is now the gun is in my left hand. I am doing a off-handed manipulation of some kind, whether it's a malfunction, a reload, anything like that. A pro of the full offside though is by getting the gun in our left shoulder, left hand on it, we are completely committed to the left side, or the offside I should say. If we were using cover, we expose a little bit less of ourselves, and it's a little bit more comfortable. The partial offside is not comfortable to shoot. It's not a good time. It's just an option you have. All right, so now let me just give you a quick demonstration of what that might look like if I were actually shooting from around cover. So I'd be over here. Maybe that right side of cover isn't available anymore for some reason, so I'm gonna go out of the left side. If I'm gonna do partial, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this gun over, and I'm gonna scooch and lean the way that we teach until I can see what I need to see and do the job. If I were going to do full offside, once again, the gun's gonna move, then my hands are going to move. And notice the hands moving, they move in a particular order. I bring this hand up first, and then this one back, get that safety off, do what I gotta do. And that's full offside. So again, full offside, much more comfortable to shoot. It's a little bit more committal. If you have to do again, malfunction, anything like that, it can be tough if you haven't practiced your offside manipulations. Another one for the full offside is the time commitment. You have to have the time to swap your hands and get them into place. And that's why we recommend moving the gun first. If you're coming up to that offside of cover, getting the gun over there, keeping my firing hand, just in case something changed where I needed to get on the trigger right then. So once I know that I've got the time to swap the hands, that's when I would swap it. And we're using these again for shooting out of the offside of cover. If I'm able to keep my hands in that position and fight with the gun the way that I'm used to, that's what I would choose to do anyway. So this is a time where either there's not that side of cover available that we would prefer to shoot from, or for something has changed where even if it was available, we have decided not to use that side, whether that's a tactics or, there's a lava pit that's starting to form right there. I don't know how bad your situation is going to be. So if you can master the full offside, I do think that it is a quote unquote more optimal. The gun is more comfortable. It's easier to shoot from there quickly if you need it to, if you're used to running the gun with your left hand. And we're exposing less of ourselves when it comes to popping out from cover. Long and short of it, we are partial to the partial offside, but if full offside is your answer, because there's pros and cons to both of them, we all know you're not going to rise to your level of training. You will only rise to the level of training that you have mastered. So if full offside is your answer, make sure that you're putting the time in to master it. Here's what you have to do. Not only do you have to practice getting into that position, right? You have to make it part of some type of routine. 80% of your training should probably be toward like no bullshit gunfighting skill stuff. When we start getting into these more niche, tactic-oriented things, I think that's where that other 20% falls in. So I would say full offside would fall into this. Practice the movement, but not only that, you have to actually practice your offhanded manipulations. You have to know how to run your gun with your offhand. So if partial is your answer, which is where I land, I'm just moving that gun over, doing what I got to do. If I have any problems, it's still where I want it to be, and I'm ready to go. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Which side do you use? Which side do you practice? Because none of us probably practice either one of them enough. And remember, your responsibility to be ready for the fight never ends.